All right, boys, we are back, and it's time to continue with our San Jose Sharks. Second day on the job. All right, we got to take a look at our roster on the first day, and now it's time for day two, and it's time to make some moves. Because here in San Jose, we desperately want to win that Stanley Cup. The team's been trying to do it now since, 2002, 2003? I forgot when they made that trade for Joe Thornton. But when they made that trade, they've been trying to win the Stanley Cup. They've come close, but yet to have been able to even get to a Stanley Cup final. So it's getting late here in Joe Thornton's career, so we got to try and win that cup in years one and definitely year two. Year two is going to be the big one, all right? So we're going to spend some time in this video editing our team. We might even get some simulating done. I'm not going to say yes or no to that just yet. But before we do, what I want to do is I want to show you guys something. Basically, what I did was the last video we started it up, but because we didn't make any moves, I went back and I edited some players. Oh, you know what? Hang on one second. Went back and edited some players that I saw in the comments for the first video. That's why I didn't want to make any moves in the first video, because I knew there was going to be something that I missed out. All right, there's two players on other NHL teams that I edited, two young prospects. First up from the Buffalo Sabres, Rasmus Ristolainen. The fantastic Finns, you guys were screaming to make your prospects better. So I made this guy slightly better. He's 77 overall now. He did get that game winner. He's got the 4-star potential, and he's 18 years old, okay? And I think every category he's at least up to like a 75 or an 80. So he's got a lot better base stats, Rasmus Ristolainen. All right, so there's Finn number 1. And then Finn number 2 from the Chicago Blackhawks. Where is he? Teuvo Teravainen, all right? I made this guy better. Man, EA had this guy rated ridiculously low, like 55 overall, a 2.5 red star potential or something like that. So I gave him the 4-star potential just like Ristolainen, and he's a 74 overall, 19 years old. And I think he's got the same thing. Basically, everything's been brought up to 75. I gave Ristolainen a little bit better just because the game winner, right? But Teuvo Teravainen, we might see him by years 4 or 5 now. So that'll be interesting. All right, and that was it for the other teams. And also, I edited 2 more players on the San Jose Sharks. I was reading your comments, and there was one real good comment about our defensive core. All right, you guys were actually saying to make a lot of players better. You were saying make Braun or Irwin better, one of these guys. I decided not to touch those guys. They have still some potential. I want to see what they become by themselves. But I made Marc-Edouard Vlasic better than an 84. Before he was an 84 overall, I bumped him up to an 86 overall, so he's not a top 2 defenseman just yet, but he's right there. And the reason I bumped him up was because the argument that he's made Team Canada, that really got to me. That makes sense. If he's made it to Team Canada, he should be at least a pretty good defenseman. 84 overall is a little bit too low, so I gave him an 86 overall, okay? So there's Vlasic. So he's still listed as a top 4, so we still need to get that top 2 defenseman. And last but not least, you guys said that Thomas Hertl never gets any better, so I edited Thomas Hertl a little bit. I left him at 80 overall. What I did was I just did the same thing that I did to Rasmus Ristolainen and Teuvo Teravainen. I just made his base stats no lower than like 75, all right? So you look at his stats, there's nothing lower than face-offs a 75, body checking category, there's a 75, and fighting skills 70. But everything else is a little bit up there, okay? But I made sure to keep him at 80 overall, so it wasn't being too cheap. All right, so there you go. You know what? I need a drink. Hang on a second. Yeah, that's much better. All right, so we're going to go best lines. So a few things about this team. There's actually some people saying to trade Joe Thornton because you guys think that his trade value is nice and high. We could get something back for it. I think that's counterproductive. I think that, that makes sense to trade Joe Thornton. You can definitely, he's got amazing trade value. I'll just show you his trade value quickly. But are you going to be able to replace a 92 overall? I mean, he's only 34. You definitely have another like 2-3 years at him being a top-line center. I wouldn't say he retires till he's 37, 38, right? So that's what I'm talking about. The first 2 years, you hold on to everybody. You can trade away Joe Thornton when he's 37, and he's dropping down to like 88, 87 overall. Yeah, his trade value will be a little bit lower, but if you trade away Joe Thornton right now, are you going to get a better player back to replace him right now? I mean, look at the 10 years we had in Quebec City. The best players that we had in there, Jonathan Huberdeau, Yuri Kapitanov, Eberle, Cogliano, players like that. None of them even got close to 92 overall. They all stayed at 88, 87, 89 overall. I think, Did Huberdeau get up to 90 overall? I think he was stuck at 89 overall, right? So you're going to trade for somebody. I want to get somebody back better than Joe Thornton. I don't think that's going to happen. I think you got to hold on to Big Bad Joe, all right? I mean, he's the heart and soul of the San Jose Sharks right now. He's their leader. I want to win him the cup in San Jose, all right? So we're not going to be trading Joe Thornton for this year, for next year. I want to see that potential drop a little bit, and I want to see his overall drop below 90 overall before I even think about trading him. He's way too good. He's a playoff-bound player, and he looks like a playoff performer as well. All right, so we're not trading away Joe Thornton. Although I agree his trade value is skyrocketing, I think that's counterproductive to what we want to do in the first 2 years. All right, unless we can replace him with a better player, I'm not going to do it. All right? So, let's go back to arranging our team and figure out exactly what we need. I lined it out for you guys in the last video, but let's just do it again. Because I actually, you guys were saying about Thomas Hertl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You were saying about Hertl is that we shouldn't play him on the top 6 because he's listed as a third liner right now. And if you want him to grow, you should play him on the third line. Now, hang on a second. Where is he? Just making sure that I have the right amount of players on the team. Yeah, okay, so he's 80 overall, and he's listed as a third-line scorer. So, you know, I don't know if I fully agree with that mindset that you need to play a player on his role to get better, because I've done GMs where I've played like mid-70, high-70 overall players on the first line. They've had good seasons, and then they jump. Look at Noah Cogliano for the Quebec City Ace Nordiques. We played him on the first line when he was 78 overall. He had a great season. His overall didn't drop. His potential didn't drop, and he got better, right? So I don't know if I fully agree with that, but you guys can weigh in on that. Over the course of the regular season, we can make some changes. But the reason I want to ask that is because, you know, if I'm making the trades, what do we trade for? A second-line winger or a third-line center, right? Where does Thomas Hertl play? So the way I'm thinking right now is you guys agreed with me on Logan Couture. We should definitely not stunt his growth. He should get first-line time no matter what. And I think he should get first-line center time because I don't want him to stunt the growth. And if you put him on the wing because he's a center, you know, will that stunt his growth? I'm not too sure. I don't think it will, right? But we can save Joe Thornton for the center position for the playoff simulation. During the season simulation, I think we can get away with him being on the second line. Or you could go Logan Couture, Brett Burns, and Joe Thornton on the left wing, right? And then go Pavelski in the middle, Patrick Marleau on the left, and either, right, this is what we could do. We could either go Hertl on the right wing, on the second line right wing, and then go Kennedy, Wingles. We're going to have to figure out this whole fourth line and third line. Oh, you guys were saying Bursch has a pretty good face-off rating? Oh, he does, yeah. Face-off's 85. So, if we can't find a fourth-line center... The only thing about Bursch, boys, is defensive awareness. I wish that was a couple points higher. He's not horrible, all right? He fills in for the fourth-line spot, but I would like to replace him with a better fourth line, if I can. Like 80 overall, right? Low 80s. But he's there for now. That's fine. Rafi Torres, Havlat, and Shepard I need to replace, yeah. Right? But we could do this. We could either go Hertl down to the third line with Kennedy and Wingles, give Hertl that third line time, and then try to find a right wing playmaker, I suppose, a right wing power forward. The only thing is he going to be replaced in a few years, right? So we'll figure out about that. We either need a second line winger or a third line winger. I might want to find a combination of the two, like a really good third line winger that he could play second line time if we want Hertl down, okay? So just be wary of that, boys, when we start the simulating, all right? And now Vlasic at 86, he's definitely going to be our first liner, defensive defenseman. Is he left-handed? He's left-handed, so a nice right-handed right defenseman would be nice. All right, now Boyle is an offensive defenseman. See what I mean? We can go forward with Boyle and Vlasic now. But I think I would like to trade away Boyle and get a really good defenseman. Or I can move Boyle down here. Hang on, Demers is right-handed. That's good. Braun is right-handed. Man, they got plenty of right-handed defensemen here. Irwin is left-handed. And Stewart is... Oh, Stewart was the one. Right. I forgot. Stewart was the guy we could trade away. He's the left-handed defenseman. So, you could go Boyle on the second line with Demers and then get a really good defenseman right here. Or, yeah, that's what I'd rather do. Because I still want to get the top two defensemen, all right? So in the last video, we were checking out top two defensemen because that was the first thing I really wanted to trade for. That's the thing that I felt like our team needed, especially in the last video when Vlasic was still 84 overall. But somebody to play alongside of Vlasic. All right, so what we did before was defense, and we went top two, right? Yeah. Top 2 defensemen. All right, now all these guys, I think trade values are a little bit too high up, right? What did we want before? We wanted a offensive defenseman. So I'll just say, for example, Drew Doughty, right? Now, we also have to worry about cap space, but just say, for example, Drew Doughty, defenseman. All right, so what's his name would definitely be in there? Where is he? Stewart would definitely be in there, right? We got to hold on to Boyle, and the reason I wouldn't mind holding on to Boyle, boys, is because the same thing as Joe Thornton. An 86 overall defenseman, offensive defenseman is pretty good, and it's hard to come across offensive defensemen in year one. You got Carlson, you got Subban, you got Doughty, you got Spurgeon. I think you got, it's like you either have really good offensive defensemen, the best of the best, or then they're like top 6, top 4 defensemen, right? Like, or barely top 4, sorry. Especially in year one. So I think the guy we got to trade away is Stewart right now. Hold on to Boyle and get another scoring defenseman. That way we have 3 good scoring defensemen, okay? Vlasic, Boyle, and the guy that we bring in. Now, if we wanted to go for Doughty, Stewart, I mean, it's just not going to happen. Mirko Mueller. I got actually weird reviews on this guy. You guys were saying that he actually does turn out to be a really good defenseman. I don't know if he does. I don't ever recall him being a good defenseman in any of the GMOs that I've done by myself for the San Jose Sharks, right? So I'm going to still put him on the trading block, all right? But I won't force it, all right? I'll see if I can hold on to him. Nieto we're going to hold on to. And Hurdle we're going to hold on to. So those are basically the trading assets that we have. The defenseman and Mueller, right? So, I mean, we can maybe swing that trade, but I think that's just overkill. I think it's way too much. And also, we got to bring in something that brings down the cap, right? So, I think all of these top 2 defensemen, their trade values are just way too high up, right? But I also gave you guys the second option, which was the top 4 defenseman that is right around the corner from becoming a top 2 defenseman, right? 1 season away, because year 2 is the big time year that we really want to win that cup. Hurdle's going to be better. Couture's going to be better. Marlowe, Thornton are still going to be the same, right? Boyle hopefully is still the same. All of our top 4 defensemen are getting better, right? So that's the year to win it. So getting a defenseman who's top 4 right now, but then top 2 next year would be a nice thing. Now, you guys were saying Jack Johnson, Kevin Shattenkirk, and Eric Johnson. The 2 Johnsons, right, in Shattenkirk. Hedman, he is... Yeah, I could get Hedman as well. He's a little bit young, though. How good is Hedman? Let's see. No, he's actually pretty good. Never mind. I was worried about his poise. His poise is actually pretty good. We could bring in Hedman. Eric Johnson. The only thing about Eric Johnson I wouldn't want to bring in, I love his age, I love everything about Eric Johnson. The only thing I don't like is Vlasic is already a defensive defenseman. If you have your top two defensemen is both defensive defensemen, I think that might hurt the offensive output of your first line forwards, right? I'd like to get an offensive defenseman or a two-way defenseman to play alongside of Vlasic for the future. Vlasic is like only 24, 25, 26 years old, so it'd be perfect to find his partner of the future. Bogosian would be one, but we got to keep the cap space down. He's been signed 7 years at 5.140. We can't do that. Larson, what is this? As Adam Larson. What was the other Larson I was looking at before? Oh, I was looking at Hedman. Right there, you go. The 2 super Swedes, Cam Fowler and Ekman Larson. All right, so we got a bunch of players that we can go for here. I think Cam Fowler and Ekman Larson and Bogosian are out of the deal. They got way too much cap in those players, $5 million, and we gotta save some cap anyways, especially if we want to get some good third and fourth liners. So Eric Johnson works because of the 3.750, but defensive defenseman, I don't really like that. Hedman works because of $4 million at 3 years. Shattenkirk works because of 4 years, and Jack Johnson $4 million at 5 years. That works too. All right, so all these guys work. Now, Jack Johnson, offensive defenseman. Yeah, Jack Johnson's pretty good. He would get it done. He would definitely be a good player to play alongside of Vlasic. Left-handed shot, though. We want to get that right-handed shot beside of Vlasic. Kevin Shattenkirk, the right-handed shot. You know what? I thought his physical category would be a little bit weaker. It's actually not that bad. He is a two-way defenseman. I thought he'd be listed as an offensive defenseman. Yeah, Kevin Shattenkirk is pretty good. Victor Hedman, left-handed. Eric Johnson, right-handed. Yeah, it seems like the best 2 guys right here are Eric Johnson, right-handed, but again, that defensive problem, and Kevin Shattenkirk, right-handed, two-way defense. I like Kevin Shattenkirk. I like everything about Kevin Shattenkirk right now, actually. 4 years, $4 million. His trade value is nice and low, and I have seen him get up to 87, 88 overall, so Yeah, let's go for it. Let's go for Kevin Shattenkirk here. Let's see if the St. Louis Blues are available to trade him. They got $5 million. Oh, you know what? You know what I got to do? Sometimes with the simulation, like the way the rosters like work, like they're automated when you start. So if you simulate one day, a lot of teams like shapeshift their rosters, right? Bring players up, bring players down, and usually you can save a lot more cap with your team and the other teams if you just simulate one day. All right, and I know it's weird, but just watch. Like now, St. Louis. See, now they have $12 million of salary cap available. See that? It's weird. I know. Shattenkirk. There you go. So now it has $16 million to send back. All right. So for giving up Kevin Shattenkirk, now they don't want to give him up. So I'm gonna have to get something back here. Now, do they have any other players on their team that we could get just to help us out? Goalies. They got a Allen. Wouldn't be a bad backup to get. I'll throw him in there. Just want to see which players we can get here to help us out. I'll just go from here. Defense. I don't need any depth defense. We're good there. Right wingers. Looking for a second or third line right winger. Some good guys here, but that's just going to hurt the trade. I'm going to have to trade a lot to get those guys. No. Oh, Sobotka. Look at his trade value. It's nice and low. 81 overall. 84. Oh, my. I like that defensive category. I really do. Vladimir Sobotka. Yeah, this guy would be helpful for our team. And his trade value is nice and low. I could pick him up in the deal as well. Right wingers. I already did right wingers, right? Yeah. Left wingers. All right. Centers. Okay. I'm just looking around. Okay, no overall. So, yeah, these three players I wouldn't mind picking up in this trade. So, let's see what we can trade back here. What are these guys? I could trade away this goalie just to get him back there. All right. Defenseman is going to have to be Stewart. Yeah, I might have to give up Mirko Mueller here, boys, because Shattenkirk is 24 years old. 10 years, he goes to 34. He could still play for your team, right? So you trade up Mirko, you're still getting a young defenseman who can play, right? So I might have to do it for this trade. We'll see if I can pull it without it, though. Hannon, I'm going to throw in there as well, yeah. Burns, no. See, I just don't have any. I'd rather hold on to Nieto than no. I'm holding on to Nieto than Mirko Mueller. Mirko Mueller's way too far away. I just don't see it. Tierney I could trade. That was the one guy I could trade as well. I don't see that going through. No, that's not going to go through. There's no way that's going to go through. All right, so first things first, we got to take off the goalie. The goalie thing ain't happening. All right, there you go. Let me take off Tierney. Now that will go through technically, but no, I think we got to do it, boys. We got to add in Mueller to this deal if we want Kevin Shattenkirk. All right, because he's actually got pretty decent trade value because they don't want to give him up. So that's going to be a lot to get. All right. So Stewart, yeah, I don't mind that. Hannon will just give up. I don't mind giving up Hannon unless we can hold on to Hannon for some depth. Wouldn't be a bad idea to hold on to Hannon for some depth. No. We can trade him. It's okay. We can trade him. I can pick up depth. All right. So Stewart, Hannon, and Mueller. Mueller's the big one now. So if we're going to trade Mueller, I want something back that's good. Get some draft picks in the first year, remember? I really want those draft picks in year one. Now, is there any other players that we can get back here? Make this a little bit easier. Way too high up. Pyarvi, way too high up. Oshie, Inkol, way too high up. These trade values are way too high, and then the trade values go nowhere. Let me see here. I know what you guys are saying, but it's actually not that bad of a deal. You know what I'll have to do? I'll just have to add in like a player that they want to give away here. Let's see. Anybody with good potential? I don't think so, right? No. We'll go Ty Ratty, even though he's got only 3-star potential, but yeah, I'll go Ty Ratty. There you go. All right, so that will go through now. I'll try, instead of the second, I'll try a first for next year. All right, load up on some firsts. So the way I see it right now, let me throw in a 7th and a 7th because I really don't want to hurt my trade value. All right, so Shattenkirk for Mueller, Mirko Mueller. I don't even think Mirko Mueller for Shattenkirk would go through because they don't want Mueller and they don't want to give up Shattenkirk, right? So I don't even think that would go through. Hannon for Sobotka, that might go through, maybe. All right, and then Stewart for 2 firsts. That won't work. All right, I'm going to have to take off one of the firsts and give it a second. The 2 firsts won't work. All right, so Stewart, Hannon, Mueller, 7th and a 7th for Shattenkirk, Sobotka, a 1st, a 2nd, and Ty Ratty. Will it go through? Yes, it did. We believe this transaction will contribute to our success here in St. Louis, so we're accepting your trade offer. All right, so he didn't say it was like a gift horse or, the fans are going crazy, but he wasn't pissed off either. One thing I want to do this year, because, I don't have to worry about ever getting fired, but one thing that I should have to worry about is this, my GM reputation. See my GM rep? I'm up at 7. Every time you make a trade that is an insult, that goes down. So I want to keep an eye on that. All right, now hang on. Let me just, this actually might be a little bit longer of a video than normal, just because I want to get everything done that we can in this video. So let me just switch over here. Hang on. All right, so we made that big trade for Kevin Shattenkirk. Now we can continue and take a look at our team, see what we need to do, right? I don't know how much longer I want to go. I did want to get some simulating done in this video, but that's probably not going to get done. I still want you guys to see our roster, especially with the second line winger spot now. That's the interesting one. But welcome Kevin Shattenkirk to our team, a perfect player. All right, 24 years old. If you compare him to Logan Couture, 24 years old, right? So, I mean, there you go. There's your top two, your top center and your top 2 defensemen going forward, all right? That's a perfect trade to have made. Now we just got to get him to grow, which means he has to have a good season, all right? So, yeah, that'll be fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, and there are 6 defensemen. And now forwards, I also picked up, what's his name? I can sit Rafi Torres now. But we also picked up Vladimir Sobotka, which will actually give us one of those players that we need down there, all right? So Vladimir Sobotka, they're playing him on the 3rd line already, all right? Is Thomas Hertl Czech, or is he from somewhere else? Yeah, he's Czech, so there you go. Thomas Hertl and Sobotka. They could play together. That's perfect. Maybe we can get Jaromir Jagr for the 3rd line right wing spot with Hertl and Sobotka. Actually, what am I doing? Sobotka should be taking the faceoffs. Even though he's a left wing, he should be taking the faceoffs. There you go. All right, and Thomas Hertl, we can still move him up. Just let me know what we should do about that. There you go. Havlat is a Czech player. All right, there you go. The Czech line. Hertl, Sobotka, and Havlat. All right, Wingles I still want up there. Yeah, Wingles is the one I want. All right, so that's a very good two-way forward 3rd line right there. Wingles, Hertl, and Sobotka. Right, but now we have a gap on the 2nd line left wing or 2nd line center position. Right, there you go. Or we could put Hertl up here and get the 3rd line right wing. So I'll see if I can make a trade for that right now. Kind of a combination between Hertl and the other guy that we can get. It doesn't matter who we put there. So maybe a guy who's like 82, 83 overall. 81, 82 I think is the best right now for this position. And then for the 4th line, Burish is fine down there, you guys were saying. Shepard, let's see what his defensive awareness. Shepard needs to go. I need more of a poise guy for the 4th line right wing spot. And you know what? I was reading your comments, and I completely agreed. I know I'm going to get the your Toronto biased trade right here, but whatever. I know my Toronto Maple Leafs. I know the kind of players that they have, and I know there's 2 types of players that I want from that team right now. And the reason I want to make this trade is because I can make one trade and get them both in one punch. That's why. All right, so first, Clement for the 4th line center position. All right, look at that defensive category. 86 faceoffs, 85 shot blocking, 86 stick checking, 86 poise at 80. Don't worry about his offensive category. He's got no offensive category, right? But it's all about defense for Clement. And I think he's only got 1 year left on his deal. So, yeah, that's perfect. All right, so Clement. And also, we're going to bring back to San Jose Fraser McLaren, 73 overall. I want to get a tough guy on this team, all right? There you go, Fraser McLaren. I'm bringing him back. Bringing him back. All right, now, is there anybody else on this team that we could pick up for a 3rd line winger or 2nd line winger position? No, I don't see anybody. Clarkson wouldn't be a bad idea, but I'm not giving him that kind of money. What are we, the Toronto Maple Leafs? I don't think so. Kuhlman, actually. Nikolai Kuhlman. Play. No, that's too much. That's too much. I don't need to get Kuhlman. He's actually got a little bit of trade value there, too. I don't need to make that. All right, and do they want to give up any draft picks? Yes, they do. See if we can get a 1st-round pick. We already got a 1st-round back from St. Louis. See if we can do it again from Toronto. So McClement, McLaren, and a 1st. Let's see what we can do here to get this back. So goalies, defensemen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're not getting any one of my defensemen. I don't care. I love my defensemen here. What we can do is, first thing we can do is go to all skaters and give them the 2 guys we don't have signed. I'm pretty sure, yeah, there you go. Give them the 2 guys we don't have signed. Now remember, I want to make sure that this trade, I don't mess around with my GM rep here. These guys, all right, none of these guys are going to become good players, so I could trade these guys away. DeMello. Burrish. I could trade away Burrish now if I'm getting, yeah. And he's got 3 years left. I could trade away Burrish now. There you go. Because I'm replacing him. And we got Sobotka as well. I don't need that cap of 3 years at one point. I want to keep those guys to 1 year deals on the lower lines. Havlat, I got to get rid of him somehow as well. We're probably going to have to take some cap on for that, but we can do that. All right, I can trade away Rafi Torres as well. Yeah, Torres has got to go. Is there another player you can give us back here, Toronto, that you don't mind with 1 year left? Jerry D'Amigo? He's got 1 mil on his deal. Hang on. There you go. No, Johnson. All right, you know what? Let's go down with this guy. Yeah, there you go. All right, so Granberg at first, McLaren, McClements. We're not going to get that first. No, we're not. I can't even talk. We're not even going to try to get the first. All right, there you go. Granberg, McLaren, McClements. All right. Yeah, I could see that going through. We'll try it out anyways. Yeah, we'll try it. If they get angry at me, I'll give a draft pick in there, okay? So will it go through? No. Okay, so they got pissed at that. Let me take off these two guys. Yeah, there was definitely a lot of trading to be done in this video. Let's see if there's any skaters matching the block for these guys that they want. Demirs, Sobotka, Havlat. They do want Havlat. The only thing is, can they afford Havlat? No, they can't. I don't want to give them Havlat. They can't afford that. Wingles, no. Torres, yeah. Shepard. I can trade away Shepard. There you go. And they don't need DeMillo because they don't want that guy. Let me give them the skaters that are matching the block. Desjardins. Yeah, there you go. Desjardins. All right, so those 4 guys. And give me another guy back here that you don't need. All right, so Granberg, McWilliam, McLaren, McClements. I don't even think that'll go through. We're going to have to add a draft pick back in this. All right, I don't want to add a second. Let me try to add a third or a second from next year. All right, so Burge, Torres, Shepard, Desjardins for McClement, McLaren. Will it go through? Yes, it did. All right, so the 3rd round pick helped to go through. Perfect. I want to keep my seconds and my firsts, right? But the 3rd I can give up. All right, so there you go. That helped out our 4th line center position and our 4th line left wing position. Okay, so goalies, yep, defensemen. Let's just make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, all these guys. Send them back down. McWilliam, and we're actually going to save some money here cap-wise as well. McLaren, I think that's everybody. Yeah, all right, so let's see what we have on our team now. Best lines. All right, so Thornton, I'm just going to, let me just quickly do this. Pavelski. All right, Hurdle will play on the 2nd line just for right now. Kennedy, McClements, McLaren, Sobotka. Wingles is perfect right there. All right, and yeah, we could get that 2nd line right winger still. Or go Wingles like right down there, right? We could go like that as well, but actually I wouldn't mind just doing that. Yeah, that works out for me. All right, and then we need to get a 4th line right winger still. 4th line right winger. So somebody with really good poise and defensive awareness. All right, that's what I want. Maybe a grinder. We'll use the trading block for this. I want to get a devoted right winger here. So forward, any age, doesn't matter. Player role, 3rd line checker. Yeah, 3rd line checker. All right, select rating number 1. Doing a lot of trading in this video. 30 minutes of trading, Jesus. Poise. All right, so I want the poise to be at least 80. And the defensive awareness, where are you? Defensive awareness up at, let's say, 84. Let's just see if there's any players up there. Probably won't be. Oh, there is. Sweet. All right, so the lowest trading value then. Oh, excuse me. All right, so Jesus, Miller, use a right winger. Eric Cole. No, I ain't getting you, Eric Cole. Nikolai Kuhlman, he comes back, but we already made that trade with Toronto now. Briere, Joel Ward. He might actually be a real good one. How many years contract? 2 more years? No, I can't do that, Joel. Sorry, man. Just going down through the list. Abdelkader. No, he's a 3rd liner. Can't play him on the 4th line. Now, all these guys are a little bit too good overall. We need to find a 4th line. You know what? If I do this and I go 4th line, will there be any 4th liners with that? Yeah, there is. Okay, hang on. Chad LaRose, Gregory Campbell, Paille, and Travis Moen. 4th line, 1 year left. LaRose a free agent, really. Chad LaRose is a free agent. I'm going to go sign Chad LaRose. Yeah, that's an easy. I'm going to go get Chad LaRose for the 4th line. I don't need to make another trade. Chad LaRose is just fine. Free agency. Get in here, Chad LaRose. Where are you? Forwards. Yeah, there he is. All right, so we'll sign Chad LaRose. 1 year at 1.250. There you go. And pretty sure that's it. We don't need to sign anybody else. Yeah, we're good. I'm pretty sure we have a good team now. Okay, so let's simulate up until we get Chad on our team, and then we will edit our lines, and you guys can take one final look at what we have, and in the next video we will start the simulation, unless you guys have something else for us, all right? The OHL and the CHL, basically, I really want to draft heavy in this year, all right? Just because the World Juniors, they have a lot of those young rookies playing this year. So come on now, where are you, Chad LaRose? Sign with us so we can take a look. Oh my God, he's taking his sweet ass time. Come on, it's the San Jose Sharks. You got a perfect spot there. What? I got a full roster. Okay, so I got to make some trades. Damn it, I can't even sign Chad LaRose. Got to hurry up before somebody else signs him. So we'll quickly just try to make some trades here to free up some cap space. Or not some cap space, some room. All right, so I'll get rid of these two guys. Let's see. There's got to be some guys on our team that are just worth nothing, and they got many years left with no potential. Yeah, so this guy and Hamilton can go, I think. 21. Yeah, Hamilton can go. So we'll just find a team that can accept these two guys. All right, hang on. Let me find it. The first two guys were only... no, I don't want that. Find a team that wants to give up their draft pick. The first two guys didn't count, though. There you go. Colorado. So we'll take a second and a third for these guys. That probably won't even give me that. Give me a second for that. All right, I'll give you a 6th. Will that go through? Yes, it did. All right, we believe. Very nice. So we got 3 second-round picks this year. That's very good. And now we can sign Chad LaRose. So let me go back. Best lines to the AHL. Best line, blah, blah, blah. Free agency, once again. Come on now. Forward. Oh, no. Affordable. Unrestricted free agents. Good. He's still there. I was wondering if somebody else was going to pick him up. All right, so 1.250 mil. All right, we'll back out a little bit here. And, oh, yeah, we got plenty of time. I was hoping that the preseason wasn't going to be over. There's still plenty of games left. We'll be fine. All right, so we're definitely, hopefully going to get the simulation started in the next video. I wanted to make all the trades in this one. That's why it's very long, all right? But we're going to get this off to the right start. And look at our GM reputation's up to 8, so we already get another... what's it called, upgrade. And also, I want to have as many phones as I can when the trade deadline and the draft comes up, right? So that's another reason we got to keep our GM rep up. So there you go. We got Chad LaRose on our team. So here it is. I pretty much think that this is our team right now. Unless there's another trade that you guys are thinking of, let me know. But maybe a backup goalie. That actually might not be a bad idea. Because if Niemi goes down in the offseason, you know, we got a 72 overall. Maybe pick up somebody just in free agency. We have the cap space now. So weigh in on the backup goalie, all right? Wouldn't mind getting one. Defense, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, all right, that's good. And then forwards, Chad LaRose, get up here. And Wingles, LaRose, Hurdle, McClements, Havlat. Yeah, we can still trade away Havlat, too. We can make some trades. All right. And edit lines. Best lines. Best lines. All right. So, best lines again. So, let me just see the way we have it. Joe Thornton, Patrick Marleau, Joe Pavelski, Brett Burns. All right. They're saying put Vladimir Sobotka up on the second line right wing. All right. So, I don't know how you guys want to play with that, but you can weigh in there. Kennedy, yeah, he doesn't even need to be taking faceoffs. We can go Sobotka in the middle. Kennedy is a center, right? So we can go. Where's Wingles? Yeah, you know what? I think we've made it. I think the way that we've formed this team, I think it's meant for Hurdle to play on the second line now. And then you got Sobotka, Kennedy, and Wingles on the third line, which is fine. I want to play Wingles. Remember, I know he's kind of low, but the 3.5 gold star potential, I want to play Wingles. So we're gonna let that guy try it out. And then Chad LaRose was the free player. That's the reason we have the extra spot. It's because we didn't have to make another trade. We got Chad LaRose, the free player. Yeah, I like that. I think that's a good team. You got the top 6, which is top 5, which is really good. Turtle is I don't know how good of a season he'll have, but with that first line, I think the second line will do just fine. And then the third and fourth line, they're full of players who have really good defensive awareness. 83 for Kennedy, Sobotka, 84, and I love my defensive awareness. Wingles, 82, which gets better. Chad LaRose, 84. All right, McClement, 86. And McLaren is a tough guy, all right? So, I don't know. I think we have some pretty good depth here. And defense, you got Shattenkirk on the right, Vlasic on the left, all right? And then Boyle is a right-handed player, but we're going to put him on the left with Demirs, all right? And then Irwin with Braun. It's a pretty good defensive core as well. And then our power play, I mean, watch out for this. Boyle, Shattenkirk. Yeah, we could put Boyle on the first-line power play. Vlasic can go on the second line, but Boyle, Shattenkirk, Thornton, Couture, Marleau. Oh, that's a pretty good first-line power play. All right, so weigh in on the power play, weigh in on the penalty kill. We can edit that stuff. Penalty kill, it's saying to put Joe Thornton up on there, but we could use like McClement and LaRose and our third and fourth line for the penalty kill, or just put the best players up there. You guys can weigh in there. All right, and extra attacker and the backup goalie. That's one spot I actually do. I want to get one more backup goalie, or sorry, one more goalie who's good enough to be a backup for us. 72 overall is not good enough, all right? So weigh in on that, boys. A little bit of a long episode this time, but I wanted to cover everything. And last but not least, let me just see. Should we trade for that goalie, or should we just sign... We could just sign DiPietro, we could sign Ald, we could sign Jose Theodore, right? We could sign one of these guys, or we can make a trade. So weigh in on that and everything else, and I will see you in the next video when the San Jose Sharks start year 1.